Well, I got everybody to where they need to be this morning, and now it's Mum's turn to go and get some fruit and veggies. So I'm going to head on down to the greengrocers. When I get home, I will show you what I buy. Now I have got back home and I have spread everything out to show you what I managed to pick up this morning. It all looks so lovely and fresh, so I'm really keen to get all of this put away, and because I've got some ice cream there, I need to do this quite quickly so I can get that into the freezer. Okay, so let's start with the bread. I bought 4 loaves of bread. We're not going through as much bread as what we used to, so a couple of these loaves I'm going to put into the freezer, and the other ones we'll be using for sandwiches. Now I bought some carrots, so I think this is a couple of kilos worth. Now I bought one of these gravy mixes. I've found that the flavour of this is really nice, and if you're not going to use it straight away, make sure you keep it in the sealed container, but you can pop this into your freezer as well, and you can just pull out small amounts as you need them. Now I bought some milk, again not going through quite so much as what we're used to, so I only bought 4 3-litre bottles this time. Now I bought 3 4-litre containers of ice cream. It's looking a little bit melted, so I think I'm going to go and put that straight into the chest freezer before I go any further, because I don't want it to melt and then refreeze. Okay, I'm back. I was running so far behind. I actually slept in this morning, so it was a real race to get everyone ready and out the door this morning, and I didn't get a chance to hang the washing out. And I'm really pleased actually that I didn't hang it all out, because I would be pulling it all back in, because when I took the ice cream to the chest freezer, I realized it's actually spitting rain outside. So I would have had to have stopped for longer and brought the washing in. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise. Now I did pick up a watermelon for the kids and a rock melon down here. What do other people call this? I think it's a cantaloupe, isn't it? But here in Australia, we call these rock melons. I bought a Kent pumpkin and a butternut pumpkin. These are so beautiful and sweet when you mash them. And this one we actually like to roast it or steam it. Now I put the potatoes straight into the keeper for the pantry because they were loose today, so they're pretty dirty. So I've just popped them straight into what I normally keep them in. But there's a few kilos, I think about 3 kilos in there worth of potatoes. There might be slightly more, I'm not sure. But anyway, I had to buy them loose today. I didn't really like the look of the ones in the bagged section, so I just bought as many as what I thought would fill up this container. And I also got some white potatoes. So these are great if you season them and put them in the air fryer. They're easy for the kids to put on and just steam because there's no peeling involved. So that makes it a bit quicker some nights. Now, cauliflower, look how big this is. Like, it's the size of my hand. It looks lovely, so we just steam this, or we make it into a cauliflower bake and put it with a nice creamy sauce. I bought 1 iceberg lettuce, 2 heads of broccoli. I think we might actually have those for dinner tonight. I bought some more lemons. You can cook with these. You can make like lemon cakes, lemon cupcakes, and then use that lemon juice and the rind in the icing and in the cakes. 2 continental cucumbers, normally used up in a salad or in school lunch boxes with some dip. I bought a little pack of avocados. These are quite firm at the moment. I find all the avocados in store are really hard, and we're going to have to wait a while for them to ripen a bit more before we can use them. But I'm just looking on the docket here. This is 1.285 kilos of tomatoes. So that was one of the smaller buckets that they had there. And we've got some mandarins over here. Now I'm trying to find them on my dockets. There they are, 1.5 kilos of the mandarins. These are great for school lunches because you don't have to cut them up. Easy peel, easy serve. Now these are lovely big mushrooms. So these ones we will be using to do our baked mushrooms. This is again where we cut up the stem. We don't waste that at all. Cut up the stem. You can put it with a little bit of cooked bacon if you like. Sauce, so you can use a chili sauce or a barbecue sauce. Put a bit of cheese on top, pop it in the oven, and it's beautiful. These little mushrooms we use when we make a mushroom gravy. I bought some more bananas. This is nearly 2 kilos worth. I got some fresh green beans. Nothing like it, is there? Top and tail them, steam them gently, bit of salt and pepper, beautiful. Now, I actually didn't have to buy the chocos this morning. A lovely friend of mine actually gave me a small bag of chocos, and we love these here. A lot of people don't know what chocos are, but they are such a versatile vegetable, and I think it turns a lot of people off because they don't know how to cook them properly, and so they can be pretty bland and pretty tasteless. But if you cook them properly, they are an amazing vegetable. So you can cook them and use them as a sweet. So you can actually cook them up, put them in with, say, apple and pears when you're stewing them, and they will take on the flavour of whatever you cook with them. They're great steamed with a little salt and pepper and butter. They also make a great filler vegetable. So if you are cooking a stew, some savoury mince, anything like that, you can grate this up, or you can dice it down really small and put it in there. Nobody's even going to know that it's in there if you don't tell them, but it's a great way to extend a meal and to be able to serve more people with what you are cooking. And they are also really delicious when you roast them with all your other roast vegetables. Just delightful to eat. But when you are peeling them, when you're cutting the ends off them and taking the skin off them, it has a really sticky residue in there. You might want to put some disposable gloves on when you're cutting them up, especially if you're going to be prepping them and putting a lot in the freezer. But when I can get my hands on these, I love to prep them and keep them frozen. And then whenever I need them, I can just pull them straight out of the freezer and throw them into a meal. I have tried growing these in the past, and I was not all that successful. I am going to have another crack at it, I think. I think it would be great to have a good supply on hand at all times. So if you haven't tried chocos before and you can get your hands on some, have a go. Find a few recipes where you might be able to add lots more flavour to it and see how you go. Let me know if you try them, whether your family likes them. Now, I bought a pawpaw. In other countries, these are called papayas. They're great, just cut up, used in desserts, or they're really nice if you freeze them and then you use them in a smoothie. A bag of boiled peanuts, family favourite. This will disappear really super fast. Gosh, is it hard to find eggs. And when you do find eggs, there's a limit still of 2 dozen. This seems to be going on for a really long time. So whenever you see them, you grab them regardless of price. Now I bought 2 little Camembert cheese. I've got 2 bottles of thickened cream. Now I thought these looked really interesting. These are shelled baby soybeans. They are frozen. You just need to thaw them and you can pop them into a salad. So I thought I'd give that a go with the kids, see what they think. They'll either love them or hate them. So it may be the first time I buy them and continue to buy them, or it may be the last time I buy them if the kids don't like them. Now I bought 4 containers of dip. So 2 French onion, 2 gherkin, 2 bags of frozen chips, 1 bag of frozen sweet potato chips, and 1 packet of frozen beans. Now these are the cups that we use in our kitchen, and we've had the other lot for such a long time. A lot of them are getting splits in them and just looking a little worse for wear. So I picked up 6 packets of these. I think there's 4 in a pack there. Yeah, 4 to a pack. 3 green, 3 blue. It's great colours to have in your kitchen. I bought 2 of these little packs of caramel slice. I will freeze these for school lunches. If anyone's got a great recipe for making caramel slice, I'd love to have a go at making this. So if you have a great recipe, let me know what that is, please. You can either send it to me here in the messages on YouTube, or you can pop over to Facebook and send me a message over there. And because I've done all the work by myself, I'm treating myself to a choc honey malt Norco flavoured milk, which would have to be, I would think, my favourite flavour of milk. Okay, let me find my docket again and I will tell you what this cost me. Okay, so everything on the table here today came to this, oh, it's a very satisfying number, $333.42. So $333.42 for everything here on the table today. And I'd better get straight to putting these other cold goods away because there's nobody else here to help me at the moment. So I better start packing everything away. And I'm sure I've got a whole stack of other things on my to-do list to get done today. Now I just brought home my fruit and veggie haul, laid it all out on the table for you, showed you what I bought, told you what I spent, and I've just put it all away. And I thought I'd take a couple of minutes to have a little chat about the difference between fresh versus frozen versus canned foods. Now, when you see a haul like what I just did, and you see all that wonderful fresh produce sitting out on the table, you can see the bright colours, you can see the texture. I can smell the fruit and veggie here, so it smells just delicious. I think we can get stuck just assuming fresh is best. We always need to do that if we are to be, good mums and feed our families right. But that's not always the case. So let's run through the pros and cons of all the different types of fruit and veg that we can get. And then you can make an informed decision after that of what fits your family and what suits you best. Now, this can apply to all fruit and veggies, but I'm just going to pick a couple today. So I'm just going to talk about carrots and beans today. It's very easy to find those products in all 3 of those categories. So I'm just going to concentrate on those. Now you're going to hear a bit of a hum in the background there. The freezer has decided it's going to turn itself back on right at this very moment when I'm filming, so that's fine. But let's start with fresh produce. I have fresh carrots. I have fresh beans. So when you head into your grocery store or the greengrocer to get your fruit and veg, there's always a really nice selection, great variety, but of course the seasons do change. So there are times of the year where they grow beautiful mandarins and other times where they're not so great. Or you might wait till Christmas time here in Australia to get your stone fruits and mangoes, but the rest of the year you're not going to see them. So that's definitely a downside to buying fresh, is that you're not always going to be able to get the product that you want. And of course that can be a little bit inconvenient. Also, I guess you can't control the weather and what happens. So we had a cyclone come through just fairly recently, and that has affected a lot of our farms and growing areas, especially down here in the Darling Downs area. So the rain, the flooding, that's all had an impact on how much produce there has been and the quality of it. And of course, what you see in a supermarket is the best of the best. But you can save money by buying seconds, oddly shaped fruit and veg. You know, it might be a slightly different color, it might have some imperfections on the skin. And you'll find a lot of those fruits and veggies at a market. Sometimes just even on the side of the road, they will have vendors just selling their produce from their farm, and it can be a little bit cheaper that way. But the weather definitely has a say in what we can buy at what time, the availability of that particular product. Now, I'm sure that you would agree with me in saying that fresh fruit and veg definitely has the best taste and the best texture. Because it's just been picked and sent to us, it's normally hard and crunchy and just the way we like it. And of course, it's got that real true taste of what it's supposed to taste like. When we start adding in processes to freeze things or to can things, we're adding to it, which can affect its taste and the way it looks and the way it feels. So I guess, yeah, my choice is always fresh first if we're just going to be eating it straight away. So if we're making salads or fruit salad, I always prefer to buy the fresh produce. But of course, frozen foods offer lots of good things too. Let's move our fresh food out of the way and let's bring in our frozen foods. I've got some frozen beans and some frozen carrots. Yep. Frozen foods offer convenience all the way around. It's fantastic to be able to have a supply on hand at all times, all through the year. So a lot of meals that I cook, I use frozen veggies. One, because it's convenient. Two, if you keep an eye out for the specials, you can get some great discounts at times. You know, buy a couple of bags of this, get an extra bag free. So per kilo, sometimes it can work out much cheaper. Of course, frozen foods have a much longer life than fresh produce. Fresh produce you have to keep in the fridge, you have to watch it, and you have to eat it quickly. Whereas frozen stuff, you can pop in your freezer and you can keep it there for 12 months and it's still fine to use. So there's one big plus for frozen foods, is the convenience of having it on hand and to be able to keep it for a long time. Now, when they pick these veggies and it goes through the process of being frozen, they are snap frozen. So they are locking in all of the nutrients. It's not like you're getting an inferior product in the frozen packets. It's actually really good. There's lots of good ratings on these. These packets here have got 5-star health ratings on them. So we're getting really good products. These ones are all Aussie grown, which is great. So buy local, support your local businesses, support your local producers. The one thing you will find that with frozen veggies, there will be a slight difference in taste and a slight difference in texture. So I find that, so even if I take a fresh carrot and I cut it up and I freeze it, when it comes back out to go into my meal, it actually feels like it's already been cooked. I don't bother to blanch my vegetables when they're fresh and I'm prepping them for the freezer. But they tend to end up the same as what's in these packets. And I think you can tell the difference when you're eating it. It's just, I don't know whether it's just because it's a little bit softer or not. I can tell the difference in the texture of the vegetables, but the taste is fine. I would suggest that although it's great to buy the fresh produce, It's always good to keep a supply of frozen fruits and veggies. Fruits are great in the smoothies, veggies to put in your pre-cooked freezer meals, or just to have as a quick side for some meat that you might be cooking up for dinner for the family. And of course, another benefit with the frozen foods is that you can eat these products all year round. You don't have to wait for a certain item to be in season. You can eat them whenever you like. You can go to your freezer and you can get it because it's been packed when it has been in season and then preserved and frozen for us so that it's convenient for us and we don't have to wait around to eat our favorite things. Now, we've talked about the fresh food, we've talked about the frozen food. What about canned food? So we've got some canned beans and some canned baby carrots over here. These definitely taste different, and you'll have a lot of people say, oh, I don't like canned veggies, they're just not the same. And I agree, they don't taste quite the same as our lovely fresh produce or our frozen goods, but they do have some benefits. How many of you have a pantry filled with canned goods? I think that it's super important to keep canned goods. You never know when the food supply is going to get interrupted. Could be bad weather, could be something worse, who knows. You never know when the power is going to go out. You might have a freezer filled with food, but if the power goes out, you might lose the lot. What are you going to feed yourself and your family? It is very important to have some shelf-stable foods in your pantry. And yes, they don't taste the same. And like some canned products, I don't mind the taste of, and the others I'm like, I'm not sure if I like that at all. And that may be the case. But pick the products that you will eat or that you can use in cooking and keep a small stockpile. You don't need to stockpile as much as what I have. I have a bigger family. If you don't have 16 kids, if you don't have half of them still living at home, if you've just got a few people in your family, you only need a few cans. But like this can of beans, I don't know whether I would just take that and put it straight on a plate for my family to eat. But would I put this in a stew or a casserole, maybe a slow cooker meal or some savory mince? I definitely use these as filler veggies, which means I can take a meal to make it go further and to serve more people. You can just mash up the carrots. I did that recently in a meal it was a creamy tomato chicken and pasta meal. You can mash this up, put it in there. It'll plump out the meal. It will make it go further and you can serve more people with it. And they're sweet. So, you know, it's a nice add to a meal. The beans, yes, I would put those in most savory dishes. So this can of beans can sit in your pantry until August 2027. So they last a long time. So having shelf-stable foods that you can pop away in your pantry, they last a long time. You can use them in lots of different meals, so they're quite versatile. I just think it's smart shopping. It's important to have a little bit of a stockpile so that you've got something to rely on. And of course, these products are also snap sealed. There is a process that they go through to put them into a can, but there are nutrients in there. It's not all bad. It's not all, oh, it's in a can, so it must be bad. No, that's not true. There is some good stuff in here, and they have, like, this has got a 4.5 health star rating on it as compared to the 5 for the frozen. So it's not bad for you. It is a little bit different, but try and choose the products that your family will enjoy or you will like. And of course, you can pick these up for not very much money. They're quite cheap to buy. And again, you can find some specials occasionally and you can buy them at half price, or, you know, buy these generic brands, the home brands for the products, and you will save some money. So there you have it. We've got plenty of options, haven't we? We can choose from our fresh produce, we can have frozen goods, and we can also have our shelf-stable canned goods as well. And frankly, I believe that we should have a little bit of all three. Keep an eye out for the specials, whatever's in season, buy that, you'll save some money. Watch out for the specials for frozen goods, you can get some great reward points on those things, and again, you can save some money. And have your canned goods. I know it might be a little bit different to consider taking canned veggies and making that part of your shopping list, but it's a good move, trust me. And you know what? When the time comes where you might need that food, you're going to be grateful that you had a few things put aside. So I think it all comes down to personal preference. What do you do? Do you just use one, or do you use all three? I think I might actually go and check some of those dates on those cans in my pantry. It's a good reminder to do that. And then it must be time for a cuppa. So thanks for shopping with me today and having a chat. We'll see you soon. God bless.